And welcome to today's live training. I'm so excited to come here and talk about 2 simple shifts that you need to sell out your program online, like now. And for those who don't know or who might be new, hello, my name is Danielle Clem. I'm an online marketing growth strategist where I help service-based entrepreneurs who are wanting to convert their prospects, their followers, into leads to be paying clients, to have a consistent stream of them and be able to be seen as an expert in your field through my signature PAC method. It's one of my favorite things to do to help out all of my clients to really change up the way that they conduct business nowadays when it comes to marketing and actually have fun while making money and like doubling their income. It's fantastic. So what I noticed from my own perspective and from my clients is there's like 2 big shifts that happen that really affect how your program or how your offer gets sold online. And they're not really that many shifts that people talk about, since for the most part I've noticed there is traditional launching and then there's, I would say, modern. Let's go with that. So traditional launching would be something like, you have a full email sequence, you have everything planned out to the T before you start, you make sure that you give a ton of value, make sure you just throw it all out there, because if they don't know how much value you have, there's nothing. And there's actually a huge problem with that. Is one, it really leads you to overwhelm or burnout very quickly, because you're not meant to have usually 2 or 4 weeks worth of content ready at your disposal to do your launches. Is it good to have some stuff prepped? Yes, for sure. However, too many people worry about their launches as something that has to be a whole event. Like, for example, one of the biggest people I see talking about launches nowadays is Amy Porterfield, who I love dearly. And even she says she has a team, I think, of about 5 or 6 now. And she's able to do those bigger launches because, 1, she's had enough time to prep for them, but 2, she has a team and she's able to do that. So these shifts can really affect your business, no matter if you're just by yourself, if you have a small team, or if you have a bigger team. These shifts have to happen so that your clients are able to see the true value in what you do and how you show up. So let's get started. The first shift that I'm going to talk about, which you might have heard or you might hear, but you've never actually integrated in, which is the show, not tell. This is really big when it comes to any content you create online, whether it's video, whether it's emails, whether it's posting. You need to talk about more of this stuff, and it's really showing the before and after, the transformation basically of your client through you and through your past clients. See, what happens a lot of the time is whenever they do launches or whenever they start to sell their offer. And that's what I'm going to try and say. For those who haven't done a launch before, or if you have, it just means you're selling an offer. So when it came to selling my own offer for a while, what I did for a long time was give so much value that I actually almost overwhelmed people at that time. And when I gave value, which we'll talk about in the second shift, it made for some unfortunate events. So what show not tell really means is showing your ideal clients what their life will look like before and after they work with you. There's a reason why this industry, like the movie industry and trailers, are multi-billion-dollar industries, because as humans, we crave stories. We love being able to see before and after. That's why home decor shows are huge. That's why fitness coaches show before and after pictures, because we love being able to see begin, middle, and end. So I want you to think about this for a second. You can even look at the last 5 or 6 posts that you've written, and you can ask yourself, have you actually shown them, as in your ideal clients, have you shown them what their life will look like before and after they work with you? Some of you might say yes. I would say a majority of you might say no, and that's totally fine, because not many people in the online space talk about this. And it's what I help my clients with so much, is because if we constantly tell them that we're great, that's not going to do much. It's the same thing when it comes to telling people, let's say you're a car salesman. You say to someone, man, this Toyota right here is fantastic. It does all that it needs to do. Well, unfortunately, they're just going to say, oh, well, you're telling them it's a great car. But when you show them, that's like, this has all these great features, but how about we go take it for a test ride? That's why test rides are huge. It's because they help show what it actually is like to be in the driver's seat, how it would feel to be having this car every single day of their life. And that's what you need to do in your content, is show your actual ideal clients what it would be like to be after working with you, or even working with you at that time. So one of the biggest ways, let's go with, I always love this, love this example, is with a health coach. You know, for them, it's a very easy black and white, you know, usually, not always, depending on what your niche is or what you're focusing on. They lose weight or they don't lose weight, or they lose inches or they don't lose inches. There's tons of other things that they actually get out of it as well, you know, confidence, self-esteem, that kind of stuff too. But I want to stick on just the basics of that. So instead of saying, you know, my client lost 13 pounds, great. But instead, if you showed how is she feeling, how is she thinking, how is she doing, every single thing inside of her business, or sorry, inside of her health, when she came to you, maybe she was really overwhelmed, maybe she was stressed out, maybe she was eating in the car because she didn't want her kids to see, she was binge eating, she was feeling like, if you were able to show that by explaining it, giving literally visual descriptions through words, which is kind of what my genius, I hate that word, but it's what I really help out my clients with, is to be able to create visual stories through words so that your clients can see you are the exact right person I need to speak to. You know exactly what I'm going through. You want those type of comments because those are going to be from people who really resonate with what you do. So ask yourself, in the comments that you've done, have you been able to create visual stories through the words that show people how to actually do that? And this is part of what I call the H3 framework, which is the head, heart, and hands. And now I did a previous live training, actually did a whole workshop on how to write headlines that sell your offer. So if you want access to that, and if you want to, I'm doing another live round on the 27th because it was so popular, apparently everyone wanted more. So I'm gonna be doing a live one on that. If you wanna get your access into this free workshop where I'm giving really the H3 framework to help you literally workshop through it at that time with exclusive free copy, then make sure to comment below and get your seat in. You can ask, you can put me, and I'll get that to you. So when it comes to this space, ask yourself, are you showing in almost every single one of your posts, are you showing them how their life changes with you? Are you showing them that you understand where they're at right now? Because that's a big part of why people actually buy from you. It's, do they actually relate to, do they know that you relate to them? For example, if I don't know that my coach or my health coach, whoever it is, if I don't know they've been through what I've gone through or help someone who's gone through what I've gone through, I won't buy for them. It's the same reason why so many of us, that's why transformation pictures work great. It's because you're like, oh, that's my body shape, and she helps her get there. That's where I want to get. Versus if you were just to say she lost 13 pounds, it's like, okay, great, I want to lose that, but I don't really feel connected to that. So again, really think about how can you create this part of showing, not telling. And again, if you need help with this, there's a whole workshop and a whole nother live training on this. If you want that, let me know. So first is show, not tell. Very simple, but very, very, very important. Second thing is, this is going to be somewhat something that I had to work on as well, and that I help my clients with, is focusing on emotions and stories, not really value. So although I love value, swear for the last, I think almost a year, 8 months to a year, that was what I would do. I would create high value upon high value. I would give free stuff. I'd do all the things. And I wasn't getting that many clients. Like, I think I had, before that, I was selling out my workshop. I had a couple of clients one-to-one, and then it just started to plateau. And I was like, oh, I'm giving so much value. Why is this not happening? Why aren't people signing up with me? And it was because I had to realize that I was actually overwhelming my audience with value than actually giving them stories and emotions to relate to where I was or relate to where my clients have been. Again, it's all coming back to how can they understand that you are the exact right person that can help them in their exact right situation. This is really, really key. It's why in my PAC method, it's the first part, it's the P, it's the positioning, because inside of that, if your messaging is not on point, I'll do a whole nother training on this, but that's why a lot of people's ads don't do well, or that their email sequence, their open rates are really low, or you name it, any content that just goes down the drain for value or engagement or likes. That's the biggest point, is because you haven't nailed that part down yet. So really ask yourself, What are the emotions? What is the story that your client, your ideal client, going through right now? And what stories do you have that can relate to that? For example, one of the biggest stories that I talk about so often is how for about 3 or 4 months, I did not get like any calls booked. When it comes to like my sales calls, I was being live almost every single day. I was writing content, I was DMing people, and it just was not happening like at all. And I was feeling stressed. I was feeling like, why is this happening? Constantly refreshing my inbox to see if something, for the love of God, changed, and it didn't. And that's why after that, I had to realize I have to look at what's going on. And the biggest part was I was giving so much value, but I wasn't talking about myself or what I had actually gone through, because for the most part, we want to know as customers, again, you've gone through what they've gone through. So ask yourself, what are the emotions they're feeling right now? For me, when I was going through that time, which my ideal clients most likely are, is they're overwhelmed. They're kind of stressed out. They're overworking themselves. They feel constantly tired. They love what they do, but there's just never an ending. It's constantly waking up to check your phone or waking up to check your email. Can you see how specific that is? How vivid? Seeing someone wake up, walk to their phone, and starting their day first thing in the morning. That is how specific I want you to get when it comes to that. And if you're not able to do that right now, that's where the workshop, the How to Write Headlines That Sell workshop, is going to be so beneficial for you, because I literally help you create those specific results inside of the workshop with actual headlines to go with it. It's crazy how good it is inside there. So I want you to think about that. What value have you given recently? Because most likely you've given a good amount, but what stories can you talk about instead? Because the way that I do this with my clients too is what I call pillar stories, or profitable pillar stories. There's about 3 to 5 stories in your life or in your business that really showcase like where your clients were and where you were at and how you overcame that. So for example, one of the ones that I talk about often is how I sold out my workshop. I was able to sell it out in about 7 days. Before that, I had barely any money coming in. I was making, I think about like 1 to 2K a month, and then shot up to 4K, and then up and down. And talking about that story and really diving into how I was actually feeling, like bring yourself back into that moment. That's how much you have to think about that. Because the value in trainings, it shows that you're an expert, but the stories show that you're a human being that can help them. Because of what I tell every single one of my clients who are in the space of giving too much value is, you want to be a brand, not a textbook. And a textbook's the one that gives you all the value, all the information, but you don't know much about them. It's just a book. It's just giving you free value. But without that piece, people don't buy from you. They'll come back to get free stuff, but they're not going to actually see you as someone who can actually help them, that they're going to pay money for and pay good money for. So to come back to this, the 2 simple shifts that you need to start doing as soon as possible is this space of, 1 is showing, not telling, seriously, and 2 is going to be focusing on the emotions, the story of it, not the value. Again, we're trying to become a brand, not a textbook. And if you have any struggle with this, and I really highly recommend you to go to the How to Write Headlines That Sell workshop, because I'll be doing that in about 9 days and giving you so much value even before that. But it's because this is the biggest thing I see so many people struggling with in their launches. Every single part of your content, every single post, video, you name it, email, anything, content, anything where you want people to see it, podcasts, whatever it is. Headlines are the make it or break it of why people will click on it and watch it or not. Hands down. So I want you to think about that. How is your engagement? How are you getting comments from people saying, I need this, I need that so much? If you're not, then you need to get your butt into that workshop. And even so, if you really want to go the next step further, which I do recommend, is reaching out and asking how I can work with you and how we can create those profitable pillar stories that help to have your clients come to you, and to be able to create the positioning to where you can create your own space, your own corner of the online world. So make sure to get your butt in the Headline Workshop if you haven't, and start to work on those 2 simple shifts, because they will radically change how you sell your program and how it's received by your ideal clients, and hopefully soon to be next ones. So I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and make sure to get started on these shifts. Bye.